Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most infamous and controversial moments in professional wrestling history, the MontreaL Screwjob. Whether you're a seasoned wrestling fan or just curious about what happened, this story has everything: betrayal, drama, and a shocking twist that changed the landscape of WWE forever. Our story begins in 1997, during the height of the Monday Night Wars between WWE, then WWF, and WCW. The WWF was facing tough competition, and Vince McMahon, the company's chairman, was under immense pressure to retain his top stars. At the center of this storm was Bret the Hitman Hart, a five-time WWF champion and one of the most respected wrestlers in the business. Bret Hart had been with the WWF for over a decade, becoming a fan favorite and a locker room leader. But by 1997, his relationship with Vince McMahon had started to strain. WCW was offering Bret a lucrative contract, and after much deliberation, Bret decided to sign with WCW. However, there was one major problem: he was still the WWF champion. Now, traditionally, a wrestler leaving a promotion would drop the title before leaving, but Bret had creative control over his last 30 days with the WWF and refused to lose the title in Canada, his home country. He proposed to forfeit the title or lose it in a different match, but Vince McMahon had other plans. Vince was worried that Bret might appear on WCW television with the WWF Championship, which could be a devastating blow to the company. Vince McMahon's fear of Bret Hart taking the WWF Championship belt to WCW was directly related to the Medusa incident that had occurred the previous year. This incident highlighted the intense rivalry between WCW and WWF. In 1995, Medusa, known as Alundra Blaze in WWF, was the WWF Women's Champion and had signed a deal with WCW. When she moved to WCW, she infamously threw the WWF Women's Championship belt into a trash can during a live broadcast. This act was a major humiliation and a significant blow to WWF's reputation. Medusa's move was seen as a direct attack by WCW on WWF, and it deeply unsettled Vince McMahon. Because of this, Vince McMahon was terrified that Bret Hart might do something similar. If Bret took the WWF Championship belt with him to WCW, he could potentially perform a similar act of disrespect on WCW television. This would have been a devastating blow to WWF, tarnishing the prestige of its most valuable symbol, the championship belt. Vince couldn't afford to take this risk, so he orchestrated the MontreaL Screwjob to ensure that the belt stayed under WWF control. This brings us to Survivor Series on November 9, 1997, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. The main event was set: Bret Hart vs. Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship. What Bret didn't know was that Vince McMahon, along with a few others, had orchestrated a plan to take the title off him, whether he agreed to it or not. As the match reached its climax, Shawn Michaels put Bret in Bret's own signature move, the sharpshooter. In a shocking turn of events, referee Earl Hebner, under orders from Vince, immediately called for the bell, signaling that Bret had submitted even though he hadn't. The match was over, and Shawn Michaels was declared the new WWF champion. Bret Hart, realizing what had just happened, was furious. He spit on Vince McMahon, destroyed equipment around the ring, and drew the letters WCW in the air to signal his departure. After the MontreaL Screwjob, Bret Hart left WWF and joined WCW. However, his career in WCW was far from the glory days he experienced in WWF. Despite acquiring a legend like Bret, WCW failed to fully utilize his potential. Bret became the United States champion several times in WCW and won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship in 1999. However, his time in WCW was filled with disappointments due to poor creative direction and underutilization of his character. In late 1999, during a match with Bill Goldberg, Bret suffered a severe concussion that had a significant impact on his career. This injury eventually forced him to retire from professional wrestling in 2000. Bret's WCW career fell short of the great success many had anticipated after the MontreaL Screwjob and remains a significant disappointment for many fans. The MontreaL Screwjob left a lasting impact on the wrestling industry. It marked the beginning of Vince McMahon's Mr. McMahon character, a villainous boss who would become a central figure in the Attitude Era. It also forever changed the careers of everyone involved, particularly Bret Hart, who felt betrayed by the company he had given so much to. The MontreaL Screwjob remains a heavily debated topic among fans and wrestling historians. Was it a necessary business decision, or a betrayal of one of the company's most loyal employees? Over the years, Bret Hart and Vince McMahon have reconciled, but the event still serves as a reminder of the cutthroat nature of the wrestling business. And there you have it, the story of the MontreaL Screwjob. It's a moment that will never be forgotten and continues to be analyzed and discussed to this day. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more wrestling history, and let me know in the comments what wrestling moment you'd like to see covered next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're curious about the original lineup of The Shield, be sure to check out that video next. You'll be surprised to learn who was originally considered. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.